Hi folks, it's me, Ghost Critic, here with finally another Ultimate Graphic Novel collection in the series we're getting over here in the UK. I'm a bit behind. They already got another book that I'm reading through at the moment, and another one is coming out on Wednesday, so I've got a bit of catching up to do. Apologise, but here we go. The next one in the series that came out was Astonishing X-Men, and the first 6 issues of the new X-Men title back in 2004, written by Joss Whedon and artwork by John Cassidy. And this was a new X-Men team, like we needed another one. But given the quality of this, yes we did. This came pretty much after Grant Morrison's run on New X-Men, and also the whole No More Mutants House of M big event. And although Joss Whedon's always kind of kept away from the big events, not particularly liking them and wanted to do his own story, there are still little elements within these first 6 issues that give a little nod to at least what is going on outside of the Astonishing X-Men title. Now we have the team of Wolverine, Emma Frost, Cyclops, Kitty Pryde, Shadowcat, and the Beast, Hank McCoy. This is our new X-team. Scott and Emma have taken over the running of Professor Xavier's School for Gifted Children, and this is very much a modern, very high-tech kind of schooling now. The story is it's mostly about the mutant cure. Dr. Rayo has found a cure for being a mutant. Now this kind of hangs heavy on the mutant population for various reasons. I mean, yes, you have the whole House of M, No More Mutants, so already the mutant population is vastly depleted. There aren't many mutants around anymore, so the idea of this cure at the moment seems a bit odd. But of course, Hank McCoy, the Beast, who is going through a kind of another mutation of his physique. He's now very feline looking, very cat-like looking, and he's always been one of those characters that has always had problems, at least with his appearance, not necessarily with kind of the intellect he has and the actual mutant powers he has, but very much his appearance. So you have in this tale him wavering very much so on whether to take this cure. And the story progresses through finding out how this cure has come about and its kind of nefarious origins. And what Whedon's done in this issue, he's created some great new characters that are still at least being used now, especially Abigail Brand and the whole kind of sword group, which is kind of the SHIELD version, but it's kind of extraterrestrial policing, a kind of Green Lantern for the Marvel Universe. No, there's no rings involved. Yeah, Abigail Brand's the head of SWORD, who looks after any threats and deals with them if they are any threat to the Earth. Whedon also introduces a new villain, Ord of the Break World, and the Break World definitely comes into its fullest later on in the Astonishing X-Men title and story arcs that come up. But this is very much our band of X-Men kind of going back to basics. There's a kind of a joke about Grant Morrison's run where Grant Morrison basically made them into kind of like a militant band of superheroes, all the black leather and stuff. And Cyclops decides, you know, we need to distance ourselves from that. We need to go back to where we were, where we're just kind of being superheroes. You know, you've got the Avengers, you've got the Fantastic Four, you know, Spider-Man, people like that, the costume superheroes that are getting all the praise and thanks for saving the world. And the X-Men have done this time and time again, but still they are not, you know, appreciated. And he thinks going back to costumes is going to be one step to being liked, to being approved of by the general human race. So they go to the laboratory of Dr. Rao to find out about this mutant cure and whether it's real or not. And while they're in there, a character, for want of a better word, is resurrected. Back in 2001, Colossus made the ultimate sacrifice and killed himself to stop the legacy virus that was fatal to the mutant population at the time, and it was a big thing. You know, what he had to do was inject this serum into his body and then activate his mutant powers, which would then make the virus airborne, and it would decimate the legacy virus and kill it off. But unfortunately that would mean that he would have to die. But Joss Whedon, in fine form, brings Colossus back to life. There's some great interactions here. Joss Whedon is so character driven in this book. He certainly knows a lot of the characters inside out, and the interactions that they have are kind of very humorous, very telling. They definitely lead up to future storylines. It's very much Whedon's love letter to Kitty Pryde. Kitty Pryde left the X-Men very soon after Colossus' death. And while she had her own little series, because she basically tried to live life as just a normal average Joe, go to college, live a normal life without having all the madness and drama of the X-Men adventures. And the start of the story sees Kitty coming back for the first time, and you get a kind of montage of her past life at the X-Men. And her interactions with Professor Xavier, with Peter, Colossus, and it's very sweet and it's very endearing, and you see touches of that throughout this 6-issue run. The artwork by John Cassaday, normally I wouldn't be a big fan of, but it is very nice. It certainly fits this kind of more modern day look at the X-Men and the world they live in now. And there are just some really nice scenes where, you know, kind of Emma takes them kind of into her mind, where they have these kind of like meetings, and you see them kind of, if you can see that well, you have them having a conversation, sat on islands, and it's just a really fun, exciting story. The baddie Ord is quite threatening. He's the one that's been secretly funding Dr. Rao's mutant cure, and we get a hint right at the end why Ord has wanted to try and not necessarily cure but wipe out the mutant population, and this is because of a prophecy on his world, which is the Break world, where a mutant is going to destroy his world, and we get the impression that it's going to be one of our Astonishing X-Men. Great book, definitely worth picking up. Even, you know, I know this is only out in the UK, but this is easily picked up in trade just by Marvel in general. As usual, we get in this front a little story so far, and you get bits about Colossus and you get bits about Shadowcat and her relationship with the X-Men. In the back you get a couple of the variant covers from the first few titles. Then at the end we have a little 2-page spread about Joss Whedon, the writer, and his kind of connection to comic books. Then there's a nice little origin of Xavier's school. Bring that up a bit close so you can see the pictures. And then right at the end we have their further reading, which kind of gives us a glimpse at what's to come. The actual next part of Astonishing X-Men is going to be collected, the story arc called Dangerous, and it also lets us know that yes, we've already had the Dark Phoenix saga, which came out, I think it was the second issue, the second book in this series that came out. So yeah, that's Astonishing X-Men Gifted, one of my favourite storylines for a long time on X-Men. And I think it was at this point that, you know, just before this came out, I'd kind of given the X-Men titles, apart from I think it was Ultimate X-Men, quite a wide berth. I'd left it for a number of years, and this certainly did kind of draw me back in, and it was kind of like a very much breath of fresh air. Joss Whedon, just a fantastic writer, coupled with John Cassidy's artwork. Great book, worth picking up. Just to let you know, I am currently reading through Captain Britain, A Crooked World. It's a big thick book, there's a lot of issues in here, but it's Alan Moore, it's kind of dense. So I'm not struggling as such, but it's just taking a while to read, but I'll make sure I get that one up as soon as possible. So I hope you enjoyed that. There's plenty more videos to come. Take care.